Hello everybody and welcome along to Racer Nexus. It's Tuesday night, it's GT4 action as Apex This returns for what is its 10th week out of 12. And we're in Salinas, Monterey County, California at the famed WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This circuit first opened on the 9th of November 1957. It measures 2.238 miles. And it has just 11 corners, but there is a big elevation change when you get to the famed corkscrew off of the Rahal Strait. 180 feet or 55 meters. That's about 5 stories dropping down through into the famed corkscrew. So we are on our way towards what could be the deciding moments for both the going pros and the mid-pack Larry division. So let's bring you up to date with the scores here at Apex This GT4 Tuesdays. Brian Lemke has a 16-point lead over Michael Brock. Brian Zinn is on third position with 117 points. Roman Bykov and Kent Kruger tied on 97 apiece. A point behind them in sixth is Jesse Meir, Russell Abraham, and Derek Tyndall round out your top 8 in the going pros. In the mid-pack Larrys, Kyle Mavis is on 137 points, 26 ahead of closest competitor Dan Carrido. Ryan Ryder, Mike Bond, Rob Phelan round out your top 5. Sean Teeter, Dylan Foster, and James Dean complete the top 8. We are nearly halfway through our qualifying session around this 2.238 mile, 3.602 kilometre circuit. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and up here in the Racer Nexus broadcast booth, a very good evening, or a very good morning in my case, Chris Murphy. Welcome back, buddy. 3 rounds to go, including this one. We've got Mount Panorama and Road America after this. And maybe next week, when we go to a land down under, we could see some titles very much decided.
Right now, so it's going to get down to the wire. We're here at Laguna Seca. Bathurst, our last trip to Bathurst with another league was pretty adventurous. I'm not sure how it's going to shape out here with the GT4 cars, but looking forward to that. That's always a fun trip for sure. So happy to be with you again tonight, Alex. A couple more races left in the season. It's going to be a shame to see this season come to an end. Apex This has just been one of the best series I've had the pleasure of helping cover so far in my illustrious broadcasting career. So it's going to be a fun rest of the season for sure.
Indeed, at the moment, a comfortable lead by Michael Brock, who is second in the Going Pros standings. He's back in the Technicolor Dreamcoat Mustang in the 421. He's a quarter of a second ahead of Joshua Soto, who makes a return for another week in a row. Brian Lemke, the series leader, who won last time out at VIR, even with the fact that the nemesis of a certain Michael Brock, the pit stops, were definitely something of a talking point, let's say. Morgan Smith leads is fourth ahead of Brian Zinn. Dan Carrido is the fastest of the mid-pack Larrys. We've got the best part of over 30 cars here in Salinas, California. Of course, Monterey County, known for being Wine County in good old California. So it is going to be the case that this circuit will provide a lot of entertainment. So at the moment during qualifying, we've got 3 minutes to go. Track temperature 64 degrees Fahrenheit and 70 degrees in terms of the track itself. And with regards to, if you want it in other layman's terms, it's 19 degrees centigrade track temperature, 21 degrees, 19 degrees air, 21 degrees track. And with regards to top speeds, we're going to see around about the 135 to 140 mile an hour barrier being hit somewhat. But nevertheless, we have got some real doozies of 2 title battles. I mean, Kyle Mavis, if he is 25, if he's more than 21 points ahead of Dan Carrido come the end of Mount Panorama next week, he's secured mid-pack Larrys. But the thing is that with the going pros at the moment, Chris, we really do have a big old fight on our hands, because if Brian Lemke, who currently is now at the lead of the timesheets at the moment, he's just gone a 10th quicker than Michael Brock, a 128.755 by the number 41 from Sky Lounge Motorsport. It is going to come down to the wire, and I'm hoping that both titles come down to the series finale at America's National Park of Speed, Road America, on March 3rd.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the last couple of weeks we've had the Brian Lemke misfortune a couple of weeks ago. Last week it was Brock with the black flag. 2 weeks ago it was Lemke with the technical issue with his wheel disconnecting. So that actually tightened the race up quite a bit. Last week Brock really had that race under control before coming in and getting the. Actually, we thought he was speeding in pits, but went back and looked at it, and he actually crossed the line incorrectly, kind of a late commitment into the pits, and that's what cost him the race last week. But we got Soto now on the pole. This past Lemke here with fast time by about 0.06 of a second. So watch for Soto. This is going to come down a battle tonight with Soto, Lemke, and Brock for sure. This is going to be a lot of fun here tonight, Alex, and let's just see who can stay up on top, because Soto, every one of these three drivers up front has had some kind of an issue over the last couple of weeks.
We've actually got 30 cars on the grid. We've got a few new names, including Grayson Bove in the number 8 car, Matt Schlosser in the 400 Aston Martin, Keen Maduro in the 88 Ford Mustang, who's yet to set a lap time. A couple of drivers like Donald Mensing, Chris Diaz, they have yet to set a lap time because their times have been scrubbed due to exceeding track limits. For those new to Apex this GT4 Tuesdays, thank you so much for joining us here on the Racer Nexus Broadcast Network. Don't forget to give us a like, share and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell, because there is plenty of racing still to come over the coming days and weeks. So the format, it's a 10-minute qualifying session, which now hits 0 on the timer. So this is going to be the last opportunity for some drivers to put their best foot forward. We then have a 45-minute sprint race, which will include a stop based on fuel. It's a fixed setup, one fast repair per race, damage is on, weather can be variable, and incidents after 12x, you get a drive-through penalty. The only driver aid allowed is clutch assist. Livery, your choice. Car choice, it can be round to round. You can switch from the Porsche to the BMW, to the Aston Martin, to the Mercedes, whatever you like every single round with no penalty incurred. There are also bonus points. At the end of the season, there'll be a 7 points bonus to the racer with the fewest overall incidents in their division. And also with that, there are bonuses for pole position, 1 point. For a 0x, you get an additional 4 points. 1 incident in your division, 3 points. 2 incidents, 3 incidents, 2, and then 1. And then after 4 incidents, it basically goes to 0. And it looks like Joshua Soto has taken pole position here for week 10 out of 12. There are 4 drop scores, so the best 8 scores at the moment will get us through. And there is Kevin Zhu, the man from St. Kitts and Nevis, who has decided to go with the Porsche, and he's decided to go with
what's the new sponsor?
Nürburg King, not Burger King, Nürburg King. He's got the umlaut over the U.
Is that a real thing over there somewhere? Or is that just something creative from Kevin?
No. They call it Burger King just like anybody else does. I think he's just played a nice little slant on it, so to speak. But 30 drivers set to go into action over the next 45 minutes here in Salinas, Monterey County, California, at the famed WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. So it is going to be, I think it's going to be rather interesting, because we've got that big old elevation change. That's 5.5 stories within a matter of seconds that you drop down. If anyone might remember Valentino Rossi versus Casey Stoner in MotoGP, and they both gave each other a little bit of an elbow check, so to speak, through the corkscrew of all places. So it will be tight, 2 wide, possibly 3 wide, hell no, through the corkscrew. But what a track to be for our 10th round of the series. We are now getting set and ready to grid up before the pace lap gets underway. So Joshua Soto will start on pole position. Brian Lemke will start alongside him on the front row of the grid. Michael Brock and Kevin Zhu will round out row number 2. Dan Corrido, the quickest of the mid-pack Larry, starts P5. He's got the 777 BMW M4 GT4 of Thomas Fisher alongside. Roman Bykov and Kyle Mavis round out row 4, and rounding out your top 10, it's an all mid-pack Larry top 10, Mike Bond and Ryan Ryder, with 4 Mustangs in the top 10. Justin Aitchison has stepped away from James Bond's favourite car, and he's decided to go with what Jim Farley would probably drive if he had an ICE daily. That would be a Ford Mustang, of course. He's got Morgan Smith to his outside of row 6. Brian Zinn and Thomas Lathrop ran at row 7 ahead of John Cooper, Oz Eskelou, Matt Schlosser, Joseph Mayer. Then we got Andrew McMurray, Kent Kruger, Grayson Berv, Ethan Becker, Uwe Hale, Russell Abraham, John Monsalve, Chris Diaz, Harrison Mealy, Keone Maduro, Donald Mensing. Looks like Jamie MacArthur in the number 75 Mercedes-Benz might not be taking to the grid, so we will do a full pace lap of the 2.238 mile circuit. So we're just waiting for a few more drivers, but again, we have seen that Dan Corrido has really punched above his weight. Jeremy Clayton in YouTube chat says go 8. That's Grayson Berv. Obviously, I know that more than likely, I hope that Michael Brock's wife Jen and son Jason, I hope you're both feeling well. I can feel my ears burning at the minute here, Chris, because we will have 29 cars going down into turns 1 and 2 at the Andretti hairpin in about the next few minutes. So here's the grid. It's Joshua Soto from Brian Lemke, row number 1. Row 2, Michael Brock and Kevin Zhu. Row 3, it's going to be Dan Corrido and Thomas Fisher. Corrido will be running in the Porsche once again like he did last time out at VIR. Then it's going to be Roman Bykov and Kyle Mavis. Kyle Mavis, the Mid-Pack Larry's points leader at the minute. Then after that, it's going to be Mike Bond and Ryan Ryder, Justin Aitchison, Morgan Smith, Brian Zinn, and a whole host of others. We've already gone through the grid, but 29 cars set to take on this Leviathan of a true Americana circuit. And you know, when you think about it, yeah, Monterey does love its wine produce here, Chris, but they do love racing just as much.
Oh, for sure, and it's a great part of the country for racing. As you can see, the rolling hills and this part of California is one of my favorite places to go. I've yet to be to a race at Laguna Seca, but the corkscrew section here is just one of the most beautiful sections on a racetrack anywhere in the world. So we're going to see what happens here tonight. Who can negotiate that well? I look for Soto to get a jump here on Lemke. We're just going to see if Lemke can stay with him through this first part of this track, because Soto has looked to have a lot of pace, but he's had some bad luck, so he's yet to pick up a victory, if I remember correctly. But I think he's going to look strong here all day long.
It's like Jen's decided to jump in through another channel. YouTube was down for my other account. Mike has frickin' pneumonia and is insisting in racing because he's a maniac. Well, let's just hope he has his pit stop practice on point here at California, because he really needs to do his best and get ahead of Brian Lemke in the points. Okay, we're heading down into what will be the last couple of corners into turn 10, and then the 90 left at turn 11. 45 minutes of racing here in Monterey County, California, at the famed WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Pace car in pit road. Soto from Lemke, from Brock, from Zhu, from Corrido, Fisher, Bykov, Mavis, Bond and Ryder. They now start to crawl towards the start-finish stretch. Here we go. We're green for 45 minutes, and now they can attack and overtake. And straight away, Michael Brock to the inside of Brian Lemke. And here comes Joshua Soto. He's going to try to the inside. Lemke high one and handsome to the outside of the Andretti hairpin. Can the 41 BMW get through? They are wheel to wheel on the exit. Michael Brock looking for space, maybe 3 wide, but it looks like there's been dramas in the background. Donald Mensing has been affected. Ethan Becker has been affected. And Ethan Becker in the Falcon Tyres Porsche. But meantime, well, Kevin Zhu trying to go toe-to-toe with Michael Brock as they go up through turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Brian Lemke gets the jump on Joshua Soto. Michael Brock to the inside of Kevin Zhu, and that is through at turn 5. And the Mustang makes it through. Here comes Roman Bykov. And keep your eyes on the likes of Thomas Fisher in the 777 BMW, really keeping on the coattails of the Nürburgring king himself, Kevin Zhu. And here goes Fisher. He's wheel to wheel as they head up to the corkscrew. For the first time, Thomas Fisher in the Dr. Dabber BMW gets through at turn 10, at turn 7 and turn 10A, sweeps around the outside. That's a beautiful move he's just done on Kevin Zhu. Meantime, Brian Lemke is starting to try and put the hammer down, but Joshua Soto is not letting him get away as they come through turn 10 out of Rainey's corner. here at turn 9 and through into turn 11. It's going to be out of the final corner. A little bit of slideways slippage on the right rear of Brian Lemke on the back axle, but he leads after the opening lap. Joshua Soto, Michael Brock ran out your top 3. John Monsalva's had a drama, I'm afraid, in the final sector, and that is not going to be good for him. He's dropped all the way down to 26th in the 505 Porsche Cayman. Ryan Ryder currently holding on in the 181 Mustang. And he's definitely doing what he can. He's not that far behind Kyle Mavis. John Cooper, the man from Winnipeg, Manitoba, the same place as where Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, 2 of the most decorated wrestlers in modern day professional wrestling, are from. That's a little bit of trivia there for you professional wrestling fans out there. I do watch pro wrestling. I have been a fan since the 1980s. Oh, big moment there for Dan Carino. Oh, the mid-pack Larry's pole sitter is in the wall, and that car is going to have to wait and wait and wait. Oh dear, it's all gone horribly wrong, but at least it's at this early point through the majority of lap number 2 that Dan Carino, we're going to have a look here, so he's going to turn the car in. So this is going to be, I think, around about turn 5. It's on the inside curbing, accelerates. Now, is that car going to run a little bit wide? Yep, onto the dust. Right rear tyre, let's go. And off, exit stage left. And that car is hurtling towards that barrier. But luckily enough, Dan Carino does enough to keep it out of the barrier. However, the 88 of Keown Majuro has gone off the circuit. Ronald Mensing is in pit lane. But still to the point of what's happening. So Donald Mensing in the pit lane due to damage. So Brian Lemke leads Joshua Soto by 0.6 of a second. As we've got 3 wide into the Andretti hairpin. Grayson Berth to the outside. A bit of a hip check between him and McMurray in the 464 Mercedes-Benz. And look at this. John Cooper has got Thomas Lathrop right in front of him. And he's diving to the inside here at turn 3. Might get the run on the 84, and John Cooper, the man from Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, has gotten through. Great job there by John, another one of the Sky Lounge Motorsport drivers that are in this team, along with Russell Abraham and current leader Brian Lemke. There is Chris Diaz in the 213. Good to have him back on the grid. He's battling away with Harrison Mealy in the 017 Ford Mustang. Ryan Ryder now up into 9th position. As Brian Zinn rounds out your top 10. Mike Bond, in the meantime, looking to add to his tally of victories so far this season. He's now leading the mid-pack Larrys and is currently running P6. Kyle Mavis at the moment is 2nd, and Ryan Ryder now rounds out your top 3 in the mid-pack Larrys. Mike Bond and Dan Carino have both got 3 wins apiece. Grayson Berth, oh, that was a bit late there over McMurray by Cooper, trying to come out of the final corner, and then John Cooper finds himself wheel to wheel with Thomas Lathrop. Lathrop might have the inside line going into the Andretti hairpin momentarily. But my goodness me, we have got some fights up and down the order. Lathrop's to the inside of turn 2 at the Andretti hairpin. Grayson Berth, keep yourself nice and clear from everybody else. Nearly got dived up the inside. But Grayson Berth now finds himself behind the 464 of Andrew McMurray, another one of the Canadians that we do have on our grid. We do have 2 of them on the grid. But meantime, Brian Lemke, oh no, Grayson Berth's just dropped it. Grayson Berth's just dropped it, and that's out of turn 3, Chris.
Oh, mistake there from Grayson. He was right in the middle of this battle here. Grayson was right in the middle of all the excitement. We were watching a big mistake right there. We'll go back and see if we can see what happened to him here. Just gets off the corner right here, so he kind of gathered it back up, and it looks like he's going to go wide. Oh, just loses it. Just loses the back of the car right there. It's just too... Starts to save it.
Too much too much steering angle, and round goes the back end. Oh, John Cooper, he just made it through. John Cooper has just lost one of his 9 lives on that one. That was something definitely puckered up there for the 77 from Winnipeg. He got through. He saw the car. He went, I do not want to T-bone this vehicle because that'll ruin my race. And he instantly steered left, got through. Well, that was brilliantly timed there by John Cooper, who continues to run in 17th at the moment. We're on to lap 5 as well, John Cooper is battling away with Joe Mayer in the 000 BMW. Good to see Joe back in in regular Munich machinery, which he did at the beginning of the season. But you have to say that this has definitely... I knew that Laguna Seca was going to be exciting, Chris. How exciting it was going to be the minute we went green. Well, lap 1 did not take long to bring any surprises, as Ryan Ryder finds himself behind Brian Zinn, who's got himself up into P9. Now, Brian admitted to us in the post-race interview show last time out that Laguna Seca was not one of his favourite tracks.
No, and it's really surprising because I don't know why you wouldn't like this racetrack, but yeah, definitely. We're definitely getting some action here tonight, Alex, for sure. Down through the corkscrew we go here one more time with Ryan Ryder. First few laps have been exciting. I'm wearing out my replay button trying to find out all the action, but lots of action on the racetrack here as we look at John Monsalve now trying to make his way back up through the pack.
Yeah, he's right behind Chris Diaz. Dan Carrido recovering now up into 20th position. Then we've got Russell Abraham, Ethan Becker, who had a spin and ended up down at the bottom end of the field. Russell Abraham's got to serve a slowdown penalty. Here comes John Monsalve to the inside. Oh, and Monsalve's lost it coming out of turn 9. Oh, at Rainey's. Oh, John, that's twice that's happened to the 505. There's Kyle Mavis now going toe-to-toe with the man that has 3 wins to his credit in this series so far, but Brian Zinn is looking to the inside of the Liquid Death Ford Mustang that is running 8th overall, but meantime Roman Bykov and Kevin Xu, they are side by side through into turn 4, and Bykov keeps his throttle pinned. Here comes Mike Bond with the head of steam in the number 123 Mustang into turn 5, now up the hill. And this is where things could get very, very fruity underneath the WP Racing bridge. Now into turn 6, down the compression zone, and round to the outside goes Kevin Xu. Here comes Mike Bond as they're going to head through the Rahal Straight up towards the corkscrew. Mike Bond to the outside of Roman Bykov. Bykov dives to the inside of Xu into turn 7. Down the hill they go through turn 8 and 8A. Oh, and that's wide from Kevin Xu. Roman Bykov gets through. So does Kyle Mavis and Brian Zinn, and Kevin Xu has just dropped the ball like John McEnroe when he's got advantage point in the tennis match. And it's going to be 3 wide into turn 11.
Oh, Bond turns in.
To the inside contact between Bond and Mavis, and Brian Zinn drops the ball. Oh my God, it's like Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe all over again back in the day.
Wow, you're really showing your age there, pulling a McEnroe, like a Connors reference, but the Mustang's going out of here. Mavis and Bond. Fantastic race right here. Bond turned just a little bit early there. We were 3 wide, but he gathered it back up. Mavis going to get back past him right here. Fantastic race here. We expected some good racing here in Laguna Seca. Who's that down on the inside? That is going to be Zinn looking to the inside of Bond as well. So Zinn had a good run last week, got himself up on the podium, looking to get back up into the pack right now. He's back in 8th right now. We got an incident with Kruger here, looks like. Couple laps ago.
Yeah, Ken Kruger's ended up in the pit road. So what's happened to our man from Denton, Texas, in the number 39? This is going to be it's going to be that dirt, isn't it? He's going to cut the corner, and there she goes, round and around, spins the number 39. That would have been through into turn 6, onto the Rahal Straight, and well played by Kent to hold his brakes, but has put him into pit road. Meantime, battle for the race lead has really heated up as Joshua Soto, the man from Antarctica, has closed in on championship leader for the Going Pros and overall. Brian Lemke in the number 41 Sky Lounge Motorsport BMW M4 GT4. They come across the line to complete lap number 7 as Thomas Fisher in 4th position, who's about 3/4 of a second behind Michael Brock, is the quickest driver out there, 1:28.389. Mike Bond has got through on Brian Zinn, and at this point it is the case that these drivers are really putting on a show. Brian Zinn, the man from Austin, Texas, the Lone Star State, and obviously the home of Circuit of the Americas, doing a really good job, but nevertheless it's going to be a case of how the next few laps will dictate, as there's so many cars close together here. There's not much real estate here at Laguna Seca here, Chris. So from that aspect, you've got to think, well, how is it all going to happen in the next 33 minutes and 30 seconds?
We surely did not expect to see as much three-wide racing as we have for sure. We figured there'd be a lot of side-by-side, but just the amount of three-wide racing we've seen down into the corkscrew, especially, it's just been fantastic racing. And you know, the one thing with Apex is they always put on just a fantastic show, and they are not disappointing us here today either.
Yeah, Ion Majuro trying to get through and hoping that he's going to try and go through on that perspective. Ethan Becker, oh, there's been a moment. There's Oz Esquilu up front in the 911 Mercedes-Benz. But apart from that, well, that was a little bit of a drop the ball and hope to gather it back up. But meantime, Ethan Becker up to 21st. Going after the 017 of Harrison Mealy. Oz Esquilu, no, he's lost a rebound, but he's hard in the wall. Oh, turn 8. Oh, Oz Esquilu, front and rear bumper missing on the Mercedes-Benz. That is going to be a repair job in the pit lane, I'm afraid.
Yeah, a little contact there. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at this. Was it Esquilu and... is that Hale there on the inside? I'm not quite sure, but Esquilu looked like he might have turned in a little too early here. Let's see if we can see what happened. Oh, he just gets into the corner a little deep. That might have been the first time he went off here. There must have been...
Yeah, I mean,
so...
you're going to see Harrison just does not see him, I think, and Oz has just been absolutely harpooned in the left side, and that's caused him to pinball off of the barriers. Yeah, I think, John Cooper, we've had further dramas. John Cooper, Harrison Mealy, and Ethan Becker have all gone off track. John Cooper's in the pits now as well, so there are more dramas. So mechanical black flag.
The meatballs for Cooper and McMurray.
Oh dear. That just really just goes to show how quickly things can change. There's a lot of gravel that's been dropped on the circuit, especially coming out of turns 3 and 4. So we've got a slow-mo replay. Andrew McMurray just loses the back end all on his own through turn 4. So that for him has really not been the greatest of moments. I mean, it's so tricky here at Laguna Seca. You're on the limits of adhesion all the time. And then we got
Morgan
Smith. You've got also there Matt Schlosser has been one of the hardest chargers. I think is that I think that's Frederick Maryland, isn't it? I think MD, if that's
Maryland. Yeah, Frederick Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. So more to the point, he's done a really good job. He's been doing so well, and now Mike Bond versus Brian Zinn. Oh, this could be rather fruity into turn 5. Down the dip they go. Bond to the outside. Careful, boys, careful, and then up through in towards turn 6, and they've got the likes of Morgan Smith diving to the inside. I think that was turn 6. Now they've gone through the corkscrew. This is just absolutely. This is bedlam, mate. This is absolutely bedlam. You don't know. I mean, you said that you've worn out the replay button. I think you've more than worn through it. I think you've gone through the circuitry. Here goes Matt Schlosser to the inside.
Oh, Morgan Smith cuts across his nose there.
There's a little touch there between them, but they managed to get out of it ever so quickly. But there's been drama, however. Joshua Soto has dropped all the way down to 24th. There's been dramas for the 07.
Let me see. I'm looking at my event log. I don't see anywhere where he went off or at some kind of.
I think he's had a disconnect. I think he's had a disconnect, possibly.
Right. So I do have something on. I think you're right. I think I have 2 time-minute scorings going to try to keep track of all this action that's going on here. And one of them says Joshua Soto went to NIW. And I'm not quite sure what that is. John Cooper, the same 3. I think you're right. I think that's some kind of a disconnect. There's John Cooper as well. I see that same notification, and he seems to be out of the race as well. So Soto fighting Lemke for the lead right there. Unfortunate for Joshua Soto. We were going to have another battle for the lead, but now it's Lemke out front with Brock about 8 tenths. What happened with Morgan Smith right there? He just kind of pulled off the racetrack to the right.
That's unusual. Oh, and he's just right. Okay. Thanks to Jen, Michael Brock's wife. Mike said he saw him disappear. So I think if there's an NIW event, whatever the hell that means,
Yeah.
that means disconnect. I think probably. So that is a real shame for Joshua Soto.
I'm gonna have to Google that one.
From that perspective.
But yeah, and Morgan's, that was kind of an odd jump to the pits there for Morgan as well. I'm not sure what that was about. He just kind of pulled off the racetrack and just went straight to the pits. So a couple of really odd things going on here in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there has been a lot of bad weather. I mean, you saw on my Instagram exactly what happened to me this past Sunday night coming back from karting Genk. Let's just say, folks, my flight got delayed until the following morning. Massive. We had 8 centimeters of snow within an hour.
8 centimeters. Can you say that in English? How many inches is that?
That's about 3.5. That's about close to 3.5 inches of snow within an hour.
Okay, gotcha. That's an awful lot. We're expecting some snow here tonight too, so hopefully it holds off until we get our broadcast in, so I don't have any problem.
Yeah. So yeah, my flight got cancelled. I got put in a hotel overnight. Luckily enough, I didn't have to worry about the extending the hire car until the following morning because it didn't cost me any extra. But
bike off with an incident here.
Oh dear, right, Roman, what are you doing? Okay, he seems to have some luck at some points in this series, but then there are times when it just goes completely wrong, and he was running 4th at this point. So, no, that's out of
it's gonna hurt.
Dear. This is
big hit from Roman right there.
And I have to say some words in that I want you to go out there and hit the pace car. Rest in power, Robert Duval.
Robert Duval.
I have to say,
hit it.
Passed away earlier on this week at the age of 95. Yeah. I want you to be perfect. I want you to hit the pace car. Well, Roman Bykov just hit the fence.
My favorite line in that movie was, "What are you guys? What are you doing down there in the pits? Oh, we're just having some ice cream."
Yeah, and he just loses it. A cold trickle just loses it. But it's quite funny that the guy that played Cal Morton Jr. was also in that movie. If anyone might remember, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, the person who played Cal Morton Jr., John C. Reilly, played one of the mechanics
on the
team.
Yes, he did.
That was in Days of Thunder. So it's quite funny how John C. Reilly was involved in a NASCAR film before Will Ferrell was. And that was probably the best part of 2 decades. And then you see him being his best friend and teammate, then nemesis. Nevertheless, we have had some major dramas here. Black flag, unfortunately, for John Cooper. That's probably for incident point limits, but John is still in pit lane. He's been in there for over 6.5 minutes.
And we have meatball flag there for Yule Hale as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I think out of all the races we've had so far this season, out of the previous 10 weeks, we're going to see another incident here. Uwe Hale in the 929. Oh, this is going to be out of turn 4. And this is where people are losing grip. They're turning in, over-rotating. The front end is snapping the back around. And there we go. Uwe Hale into the barriers. That's going to smart. Bang, goes into the Mercedes.
That is a meatball flag front for sure right there.
That Merck's front end has seen better days. Meantime, it is getting to be the battle that we have been expecting at the front end of the grid. No surprises here that it's Lemke versus Brock once again. We have 24.5 minutes left to go as the sun looks to be setting here at Laguna Seca. Thanks to everyone watching along here on the Racing Nexus Broadcast Network. We have been trying to sort things out with the audio for myself and Chris, so thank you so much for bearing with us. So a couple of technical difficulties, but before I forget, don't forget to cheekily get your 5% off of all purchases through our good friends at the Apex Sim Racing Shop. on checkout using the referral link down below. Use the coupon code RACERNEXUS. It's all lowercase, all one word, RACERNEXUS, to get 5% off any purchases you make at Apex Sim Racing Shop. We now have a look here. Dan Carrido has moved up the order consistently after that early code brown and clean up on aisle 3. But he has got Ryan Ryder to his inside, the Mustang on the inside of the Porsche, heading into the Andretti hairpin here at turn number 2. So now they're going to be wheel to wheel coming into turn 3. Carrido's going to have the inside line here. What will Ryder decide to do? He's going to use discretion as the better part of valor. Keep it a little bit wide. Don't go onto that dirt, Ryan, because that nearly could have spun that car around and make him hit the barriers like we've seen with so many people coming out of turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Of course, the next round of this series will head to the land down under, which recently hosted the Liquid Moly Bathurst 12 Hours. If you did watch that one, it was incident riddled, let's say, with Ralph Aaron and Joseph Ziegler having the biggest incident of the day over 12 hours, which brought out the red flag. We will be heading to Mount Panorama, Bathurst, New South Wales for the penultimate round of the series, and that will be a very, very much a flat-out extravaganza with half of the circuit at full throttle. Meantime, Kevin Zhu is the first of the mainstays at the sharp end of the field with 22 minutes to go here, Chris, that has decided to dive into pit lane.
Yeah, pit stops are going to start. Zhu and Carrito both come into the pits to start off our cycle 22 minutes in. We're about just a little past halfway now. But, you know, we started off with 29 cars in this race. I think we're down to about 20 or 21 at this point. I think Bykov might have, looks like he may be back out on the racetrack. Morgan Smith maybe as well. But incident riddle, we had some exciting race in the first few laps, and then the incidents just started piling up, and we've lost a few pretty good cars here. I'm not sure what happened with Soto. I think that had to just be a disconnect. But Brock is doing everything he can. And again, if you weren't here when we started, Michael Brock's wife, Jen, tells us he has pneumonia. He's out there racing this sick, but he wants his points championship, and he's right there on the back of Lemke, so one little mistake. And look at back there in third, Thomas Fisher running really well in the 777 as well, Alex.
Yeah, and that's we've got the Mustang meet and a BMW sandwich at the moment with the top 3. But the thing is, Michael Brock, despite having frickin' pneumonia, as his wife Jen has said to us, he is not slow. He is absolutely chasing down Brian Lemke. The gap is under 0.4 of a second. Last lap's around of 28.8 for Brock, a 29.3, so half a second taken out of the race leader by the 421 Technicolor Mustang. So Michael Brock doing everything in his power. Great to see him back in the Mustang for this round here at Laguna Seca. I'm sure that car will be one of the ones that he might consider for Mount Panorama, Road America. Obviously, it depends on what car drivers will be comfortable with. And Brian Lemke, we have seen him, Mr. Consistency, as we've nicknamed him over the course of the series, has stayed true to the BMW. He's only had, I think, one change this series, but the BMW seems to be his favourite weapon of choice, in the words of musical DJ from Brighton in the United Kingdom, Fatboy Slim. If anyone might remember the famous music video where Chris Walken was dancing around the airport, well, that was the song Weapon of Choice by Fatboy Slim. So I had to make an actor and a DJ reference all in the same phrase there, Chris. Right, Thomas Lathrop and Harrison Mealy have just jumped into pit lane. So we're now going to see, with just under 20 minutes to go with this 45-minute race here at Laguna Seca, Oz Escalou has now got a black flag, so he's going to have to serve a drive-through penalty. Lemke has pitted. Lemke has pitted from the race lead. So Mike Brock, you've got to drive that Mustang like you stole it out of the local Ford dealership.
Yeah, Brock clear if Lemke in front of him. Let's see if he's got some, can get a good in lap right here if he decides to pit the next lap, or Lemke gets a better out lap here. But this is Mike Brock's chance, but unfortunately he's got that lap car in front of him. It's probably not helping out. You can see him flashing the lights right there on Ethan Becker. Becker with a few problems here in this race. He's now falling back. He's not just pulling over out of the way. He's making Brock work for this here. So this is really going to hurt Brock's chances to make up some ground on Lemke.
Jen's just gone, probably racing via delirium on Mike's part is what she said, and it's now through. I mean, to be honest with you, Ethan Becker, if there are blue flags, you need to be out of the way. to be honest with you, because there are faster cars approaching now. Michael Brock and Thomas Fisher. It is BMW versus Ford once again, but it's not what we have seen. Brian Lemke, okay, 17.9 seconds on his marks in the pit lane. So Michael, if he is coming in this time, he has got to really be on point and enter and exit the pit lane correctly. They come through out of turn 9 at Rainey's. And then it will be the run into turn 10 before we head into the 90 left at turn 11. Now, does Brock go in? Yes, he does. Fisher carries on, however. So Michael will now have to do his level best. The thing is that Brian Lemke was 33 seconds behind him as he entered the pit road. It's a long run to the pit lane exit, and it's a very long white line on the pit lane exit as well. Kyle Mavis has come in from the mid-pack Larry's lead, so Thomas Fisher is possibly going one lap longer. Brian Zinn continues. Mike Bond, however, pits, and Michael Brock is fueling up as we speak. 10 seconds, 11 seconds, make that 13. 15.5 seconds. Michael Brock now starting to move his way towards the end of pit lane. Oh, Joshua Soto, road construction decided to shut everyone's power during the race. Oh, Josh. Now we know. That is absolutely ridiculous what they've just done there. And Michael Brock has exited in front of Brian Lemke. There you go. Well played, Michael. Well played, Michael. That puts him provisionally as the leader of this race once we have Fisher and Zinn in pit road. There's a few more. So road construction decided to shut everyone's power out. So Josh was mid-flow chasing down Brian Lemke, and then all of a sudden power goes out, disconnects him from the server. That is a real shame, and that just goes to show, folks, that even in the world of sim racing, there are outside factors that are beyond your control that you cannot do anything about. And here comes Thomas Fisher into pit road. Brian Zinn, will he dive into pit lane this time? Let's see. Yes, he does. He's exited left. So this now puts Brock just... Oh, Michael's just spun it. Cold tyres. No! I cannot believe it.
Michael Brock just loses the back of the car right there. He had come out, made a perfect pit stop, 2 seconds advantage over Lemke coming out of the pits, and loses it right there. Let's take a quick look at it. We just happened to jump to the camera right before it happened, but let's see what happens to Michael. Just coming down the hill right there. It looks like the back of the car is already starting to come around on him, and it just continues around. Yeah. Cold tires, definitely.
I think it's not just the cold tyres, Chris, because there is a bump coming down through the midway point of turn 9 at Rainey's. And Jen just said, I heard him go, damn it, and now I know why. Oh, bless. Brian's in.
But look who come out with the lead here.
Oh, it's Fisher. Fisher's ahead of Lemke.
Fisher with
now, I'm wondering if Brian has also had a moment, because Brian's last lap was a 1:29. He's been running as now we've got him and Grayson Berth side by side.
Oh!
Thomas to the outside, they tangle. No, Thomas Fisher's hit the wall. Oh, now I'm sorry. I just sort of think that at that point, Thomas Fisher, I am not at all surprised. He's probably left the server. So we're going to have a look here from the helicam. So they're going up here, up the Rahal Straight, in towards turn 7. You've got Grayson Berth to the outside. Thomas Fisher goes to cover him off. Now,
I understand, Grayson was just giving him space right there. I think Thomas just misjudged that and just came across the nose. I mean, it wasn't like Grayson was really in his way at that moment.
No. So, I'd like to see that from a helicam shot.
Let's see if we can find it real quick.
Because yeah, I think Thomas has just disconnected from the server. Probably just decided, no, that's enough. And Joshua Soto, Josh, I think you're right. Everyone's having trouble tonight. Well said.
See if we can get back to that somehow.
So we're looking back from Lemke, but I think the helicam shot will probably be a bigger indicator. So here we go. So Yeah, you can see this the rate of catching. So, oh, I think that's a bit 50-50.
Let me go back and rewind here real quick. I don't like to do that,
Yeah.
but whatever. At this point.
Well, the thing is that Thomas knew he had enough speed to get past Grayson. It's
Grayson
a tough
kind of,
one.
yeah, Grayson kind of did come off the corner just a little bit and push up a little bit with the racetrack, but I think, you know, if I'd have been Thomas in that position, I think I'd have held my car a little bit more to the left, but you know, it's easy to armchair quarterback from here.
Oh, Kevin Shu's just got a black flag. That's a drive-through penalty for the 243 from St. Kitts and Nevis. Kyle Mavis, however,
Up to third.
he's definitely, he's up to P3 overall. So, well, this is not at all a surprise. I'm not at all surprised that Thomas Fisher has decided to disconnect from the server.
I'm not either.
So, it's all I can say now. Right, so we have got, I'm looking down the timing screen, we have 19 out of the 29 starters. So Oz Escalou, Grayson Berv, Uwe Hale, they are still running. Brian Lemke now up into P1 after the disaster for still, however, Michael Brock, despite that spin coming out of Rainey's at turn 9, he is second.
11 seconds
Kyle
back,
Mavis,
though.
Yeah, he's 11 seconds back, but look at it from the bigger picture. That's 18 points that he will gather for finishing second. But the thing is, he knows, I think he needs to give himself a little bit more TLC before the next 2 rounds of the series, because he needs to be on full, you know, his pit stop was absolutely, as we would say, absolutely mustard. It was on point. He did not put a foot wrong. 15.5 seconds, came out of the pit lane, did not make any mistakes. It was just that moment coming out of turn 9. Here goes Keon Maduro on Chris Diaz through into the Andretti hairpin. This is the battle for 14th. Maduro gets through. That was a good move by the 88 Mustang there on the 213 Mercedes. We've got just over 11 and a half minutes to go, as we've now got the battle for second in the mid-pack Larrys. So Mike Bond versus newcomer Matt Schlosser, who's done a really good job. But the hardest charger of the night so far, Keon Maduro, 28th in qualifying, is now running a genuine 14th at the moment, up 14 spots, having just got through on Chris Diaz, but Chris Diaz is sticking with him. But this is for P2 in mid-pack Larrys. More to the point, it is P5 overall. Oh, moment there. Oh, Keon Maduro got it all wrong, and that has just allowed Chris Diaz to go high by rapid succession, and that was on the way up to the corkscrew. So Keon Maduro has got to redo all that work that's just been undone.
Yeah, he made a good charge up through there, but actually did a great job of saving that. He could have lost a lot more time on Diaz right there, but he's only about 4 or 5 car lengths behind right now. I was looking up here towards the battle. Mike Bond here, it's got Schlosser all over the back of him. And, you know, I got to go back and talk about that again. Thomas Fisher had put himself in the perfect position, made a great pit stop, got himself out in front. You know, unfortunate for him, but I think we were looking at possibly having a new winner here tonight, Alex, but he's going to be out of this, so it's going to look like it's going to come down to between Lemke and Brock one more time. And Brock is running about 0.3 of a second faster per lap right now, but with that 11-second gap with only 10 minutes left to go, I don't think he's going to make up that time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if it was like, say, 20-25 minutes, then you would probably favour Michael Brock as the, there you go, Nürburg King. Brilliant, brilliant little bit of livery. I mean, that is, I had to say, in terms of the biggest surprise on the livery, Kevin Shu gets that award here on Apex this GT4 Tuesdays, Nürburg King. But more to the point, he is closing in on the top 10 now, because he's got Dan Corrido and Ryan Ryder in front of him. Keon Maduro has managed to claw his way back towards the back end of Chris Diaz. This is coming out of the corkscrew. Down the hill they go, through into turn 9 at Rainey's. Maduro to the inside. Chris Diaz keeps the throttle pinned and goes off circuit. Maduro is going to say thank you very much. Round the outside he goes here at 10. Can he keep it on the black stuff? Yes, he can on this occasion. So Chris Diaz is going to try and late lunge him into the inside of turn 11, but Majuro able to cover off the Mercedes-Benz. Manages to keep the back axle in check. Meantime, this battle here between Ryan Ryder, Dan Corrido, and then you've also got just behind man from St Kitts and Nevis, Kevin Zhu in the 243 Porsche. They are battling away for 9th, 10th and 11th position respectively as they go up towards turn number 6 and then onto the infamous Rahal Straight. Over the crest they will go and head towards the corkscrew. Ryder in the Mustang. Can he try and get the run on the Porsche in front? The answer on this particular occasion is a no, but can he keep with Corrido? It's about a car length and a half behind. Into Rainey's at turn 9, they go down the hill. But still, Corrido parking the car on the apex exactly where he needed to. This could possibly give a little bit of an opportunity here for Kevin Zhu maybe to get through, but in the background there's the 000 BMW, well, the 000 Mustang of BMW, sorry, of Joseph Mayer, who has for quite a few times changed into the Mustang. But here we go, the man from Frederick, Maryland, Matt Schlosser to the inside of Mike Bond, and that is second. Oh, bit of a wobble for Mike Bond. And here comes Justin Aitchison in the number 175. He's gone. Oh, now, Justin Aitchison, you have just made my heart go boom, boom, boom with that Golf livery on that Mustang. Well played. It's like the old GT40 back in the mid to late 1960s when Detroit came and fought Maranello in the world of sports car racing. We have got multiple battles. We've got Schlosser versus Bond versus Aitchison, then we got Corrido, Ryder, Zhu. Those are the two closest battles. Brian Zinn is closing in on Kyle Mavis for P3 and is 1.7 seconds down the road. However, Brian Lemke and Michael Brock, they're about 11 seconds apart. It is the case that Michael is going to have to settle for second. He's going to be kicking himself after that moment out of turn 9 after exiting what was a perfectly executed pit stop. But here we go. Corrido really soaking up the pressure as the proverbial Porsche sponge that he is. Ryder has got Zhu breathing all over him to the left, to the right of his rear diffuser as they come out of turn number 11. Now it's the run down over the crest, down the hill into the Andretti hairpin. We ride on board with the man from St Kitts and Nevis. Over the stripe we go to complete another lap. Lap 26 is underway. And the Mustang has the legs in comparison with the Porsche, but Corrido just able to make the back of that 718 Cayman GT4 RS as wide as humanly possible. It's like Ryan Ryder tries to force the issue. Dan Corrido says, damn you to hell there, you ain't getting past. We've got a replay here. Oh no, Keon Majuro, what has happened to him? He has ended up back behind Chris Diaz, and we're going to find out why now. Into the corkscrew at turn 7, 8 and 8A. Down the dip comes the 88 Mustang, and he loses it on the compression, the bump, and he turns it around 180. Oh, but at least there was enough distance between himself and Harrison Mealy to hold on to that 15th position, but he still won. Well, Keon Majuro and Chris Diaz are looking at the top 4 when it comes to hardest charger of the night. Keon Majuro 13 places, Chris Diaz 12 places, Harrison Mealy 11 places, Matt Schlosser in 6th, started 17th and is currently P2 in the mid-pack Marys. Meantime, we still have this battle here with just over 5 minutes to go. The deadlock, the stalemate is happening. Oh, Kevin Zhu nearly into the back of Ryan Ryder. Has a bit of a wobble, so does Kevin Zhu coming out of the final corner. We did clap our eyes very, very briefly on the battle between the two Mustangs of Mike Bond and Justin Aitchison. So Bond in the Kubota liveried car, and then the Golf livery, the wonderful light blue and deep orange Golf colours of Justin Aitchison. So we've got just under 5 minutes to go, and well, Ryan Ryder keeping ahead of Kevin Zhu. So Kevin Zhu in the Nürburgring King liveried Porsche, unable to get through on the 181 Ford Performance Mustang. Meantime, Michael Brock has been whittling away that lead, and it's down to 9.5 seconds. Looking at the last lap, well, Brian Lemke 1 minute 30.2. Michael Brock 1:28.9. That is 1.3 seconds. think it's mainly because of the fact. Oh, Ryan Ryder's gone off. Ryan Ryder has gone off the circuit. Oh, and that is smoke billowing from the Coyote engine. And I think that is going to be game over for Ryan Ryder. Let's have a look what happens. Now, he's had Kevin Shue right on his rear bumper for a lot of the race. They're going to go into the left-hander here. This is going to be into turn 6 onto the Rahal straight. Sparks fly from the front diffuser, and it's going to be all on his own. Gets a tank slapper, exit stage right, and bang, the front end hits the barriers hard. Oh, it was going so well for Ryan Ryder. That was a podium. That was a podium that has just gotten away from that man in the 181. Ryan Ryder, with 3.5 minutes to go, has ended up in pit road, and that's going to put him 18th overall. Well, it could be 19th overall, but here we have the battle with Mike Bond because he's been passed by Justin Aitchison. Mike Bond off the podium. And Schlosser now up 11 spots. But more to the point, that is a real shame for Ryan Ryder. The gap between Messrs Lemke and Brock is now down to 8.6 seconds. There's Brian Zinn in the number 82.
Yeah, Brian's had quite an adventure here. He was down a little bit. He's looking, he finished on the podium last week, and he's lurking right here to get around Mavis to get back up into the top 3. I mean, he is top 3 in the pros right now, but looking to get overall as well.
So we have had plenty of, this has been a drama-filled week 10 here at Laguna Seca for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays here on Racing Nexus. And we still got 2 classics left to go. We've got Bathurst next week. We've got Road America on March 3rd to conclude the series. And if this kind of racing continues at the mountain in New South Wales, as we get a quick shot of the blimp in the background there for the first time in the broadcast. Well played, Chris. That was probably by sheer accident, I'm sure, wasn't it?
Oh, no, it was totally planned, totally planned.
Totally planned, there we go. Right, Ozescu, Ryan Ryder rejoins after 1 minute and 45 in the pit lane after that big hit. But still, the gap is coming down between the 2 leaders. Michael Brock is...
Ryder off again.
So Ryan Ryder has just had to use the escape road, I believe, just to keep out of the way, so that might give him a slowdown. And that was with the 2 people that he was just battling with Kevin Shue behind him and Dan Corrido in front of him. So, Ryan, this time, make sure you're nice and clean coming through into turn 6, because you don't want to have happen for lightning to strike twice, my friend. Nevertheless, we still have at the moment Kyle Mavis now has a slowdown penalty, which is going to allow Brian Zinn to get through, so the change has happened. But Kyle Mavis at this moment in time has been looking for another victory, and at the moment Kyle Mavis does have 2 wins to his credit. Dan Corrido has 3, Mike Bond has 3. Aaron Lahr, who we saw for the first handful of rounds, has had a race win, but it looks like we're going to have 3 drivers with 3 wins apiece. Dan Corrido, well, Kyle Mavis, his average finish has been 3rd all the way through this series. Average finishing position 4 points in the top 4.63 for Dan Corrido. Ryan Ryder yet to secure a mid-pack Mary's victory, but has had 5 rostrums this season. Mike Bond, 4 top 5s and 3 wins. Rob Phelan, we missed the Lego Speed Champions Mustang. I was wondering where he was this week, but nevertheless, it can happen. We are down to the final couple of seconds of this race. The white flag will be in the air this time for lap 30 out of 30. So, timer hit 0. Michael Brock, he could have won this, but it is going to be the fact that Brian Lemke is going to slightly further extend his advantage in the going pros side of things. Out of the final corner, it will be the checkered flag, and for another race in a row, it goes the way of Brian Lemke in the number 41 Sky Lounge Motorsport BMW M4 that takes the win here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Michael Brock will close that gap as much as he can, and he finishes 8 seconds adrift. Brian Zinn will again get another rostrum, finishing in P3. But it is going to be a long wait. It has been a long wait for the man in the number 64, Liquid Death Ford Mustang GT4. Kyle Mavis picks up the win in the mid-pack Larry's. Thomas Lathrop comes across the line to finish 4th in the pros, 5th overall. And Matt Schlosser on debut comes across the line to finish P6. Up 11 spots, he takes 2nd in the mid-pack Larry's. This runs the line between Corrido and Zhu. Corrido's going to get 9th. Zhu rounds out the top 10. But Justin Aitchison takes a podium, switching machinery from Aston Martin to Ford. But what a debut for Matt Schlosser in the 400. The man from Frederick, Maryland, he did a great job making up 11 spots, but our hardest charger of the night is the number 88 Ford Mustang of Keon Maduro, who started 28th on the grid and has crossed the line in 14th position. He is our hardest charger of the night, but nevertheless, Brian Lemke now picks up his 3rd win of the series so far, and that, as they say, is the dust very much settled here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. So here's your overall podium. Brian Lemke, Michael Brock and Brian Zinn are the overall top 3. And then we've got Kyle Mavis, Matt Schlosser and Justin Aitchison that round out your top 3. Here are your top 10s after, well, that's actually from qualifying there, but never
there we go.
mind. There we go. So Brian Lemke, Michael Brock and Brian Zinn round out the top 3 in the going pros side of things. Thomas Lathrop, Kevin Zhu, Joseph Mayer and Oz Eskelou rounds out your top 7. Thomas Fisher, unfortunately, after that incident with Grayson Berv, ends up 11 laps down. Roman Bykov out with 18 laps to go. Russell Abrams out with 20 laps remaining. And then Kyle Mavis goes back to victory lane, finishing ahead of a 1-2-3 for Dearborn, Michigan. The Mustangs rule the roost here in Wine County, California. Justin Aitchison and Mike Bond round out your top 3. Dan Corrido, despite that early code brown and clean up on aisle 3, he comes across the line to finish 4th ahead of Chris Diaz, Harrison Mealy, Grayson Berv, Ryan Ryder and Uwe Hale, who round out the top 9. We had 19 finishers at the end of that race. Chris, before we get the Apex Sim Racing post-race show underway, what a mad race here at Laguna Seca. We couldn't have called it to be this way, could we?
No, definitely not. Definitely didn't expect the carnage we saw here tonight, especially after the way the race started. So many side-by-side battles. Everybody giving each other some space. Nothing really going on, and then started about halfway through, a little bit before halfway through, and then the carnage started. We had drivers just basically losing the cars on their own, taking some damage. A couple of side-by-side incidents. Unfortunate for Thomas. Thomas Fisher leading the race got involved with a lap car to put him out of the race. But yeah, definitely the most adventurous, most carnage-filled race, I guess is the best way to say it, that we've seen so far from Apex this. 29 cars starting the race, only 19 finishing. That is pretty much unheard of for this league.
Yeah, well, it's time to get underway with the Apex Sim Racing post-race show here on Racing X's for week 10 out of 12 for Apex this GT4 Tuesdays. And, well, we're going to start with the man who has picked up another win, and it's his 3rd of the 10 weeks so far. Let's bring in Sky Lounge Motorsports' Brian Lemke. Brian, you dodged another bullet tonight. I mean, you seem to have the luck. Michael comes in, does a perfect pit stop, then spins it coming out of turn 9. Then Thomas Fisher is away with the fairies, and then he has an incident with Grayson Berv coming up at the corkscrew, and then you find yourself in the race lead. You must have been thinking, what on earth has been going on? Has Dumbledore been using Harry Potter's magic wand tonight?
Let's not forget Soto there at the beginning. I don't even know what happened to him. He was flying. I mean, that was going to be a good race too.
We found out that the district power decided to shut everyone's power off.
Oh no!
And he was chasing you down. He was like half a second behind you, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, oh for sure.
Absolute craziness. We got 19 finishes out of 29 starters here at Laguna. Like literally, we had. I mean, you must have been thinking, how lucky am I?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I felt pretty good. I felt like I had decent pace, but man, these guys, they just kept coming and coming, and not the way I wanted to win. I was really looking forward to racing out with those guys. They're all so fun and fast, and I mean, I probably wasn't gonna win that. I mean, they both got around me in the pits. Soto had the speed. I mean, if it wasn't for those problems, I don't think I win that one. So that one was a gift. I'll take it when they come, but obviously not the way I wanted to win. I'd rather all four of those guys be, half a second behind me at the end. That would be much more satisfying.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's just like where we've seen three wide, we've seen packs of cars going two by two into the corkscrew. We even saw, I think it was, or is it Kyo Majuro, a new entrant for this week in the number 88. He was the hardest charger of the night. Still came through the corkscrew, got caught out by the little dip, the adverse camber to the left coming through eight, and he spun it 180 in front of Chris Diaz. Like literally, we had so many people exiting stage left, exiting stage right, but you did keep it on the black stuff, and that's what has helped you be the Mr. Consistency of the series. We've got two more rounds to go, Brian. We got Mount Panorama Bathurst next week.
Hmm.
That is going to be
Absolutely.
that is going to be crazy, man, because we're going to be seeing these cars top out at 165 down Conrod going into the chase. Um, I'm going to ask you a question. What car are you possibly thinking of? What three cars are you possibly thinking of? Because if it was me, I know I'd definitely go with the legs of the Mustang on that one.
Yeah, yeah. Mustang, BMW is going to be up there. I I don't know if the Porsche has the legs. Maybe the AMG, but I'm sure I'll be in my BMW. It's just served me well. Every time I try a different car, I go, man, I miss my BMW. So I'll probably just stick with it the end till the end of the season. At this point, I am super excited for Bathurst this week. We got the 12 hours coming up this weekend, so I'll have like a million laps in a GT3 before I even get to the race. So that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brian, well done tonight. Third win out of 10 weeks. Of course, 2 weeks to go. You are still leading the Going Pros heading into Mount Panorama. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a thank you to tonight?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for the broadcast. They've been awesome. I enjoy watching them. Sky Lounge for jumping on board, Racer Nexon, all the admins. Honestly, shout out to the iRacing gods tonight because that's why I won. I mean, everybody had issues, unfortunately, but it benefited me. I've certainly been on the other end of those before, so I know how it feels. But I'll take it. It is what it is, and we'll move on to next week. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot, Brian. We'll see you next week for the penultimate round, week 11 at Mount Panorama. Well done tonight on the victory, despite getting a few of your cat nine lies thrown away at the same time. Well done tonight, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Right, a big thank you there to Brian Lemke, and standing by with Chris Murphy. He's on the podium again, folks. It's Brian Zinn.
Brian, you're in the booth here with Chris and Alex, buddy. How you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen.
That
How's that from your end?
I couldn't even stay up on top of everything that was going on. That was just a crazy race. How was it from your end?
Crazy. It was very chaotic. It was well, the insanity level matched the level of gravel on the track at the end of it, so I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's one of the first races I've covered at Laguna Seca. I expected some good racing tonight, but I sure did not expect 4 or 5 wide. I see you and Kyle going back and forth in the Discord chat, kind of having the discussion about it. And you guys came to that first corner through the corkscrew. What was your vantage point right there?
Uh, yeah, it was just a matter of I wanted to make sure I didn't run into the back of anybody, and at the same time not get ran into the back of myself. So I had shades of the Daytona 500 that I did earlier this week, and of slowing down for traffic jam and just getting ran over. So thankfully we all kept it clean up front, and then the spiciness just kind of ramped up lap after lap. And yeah, that 3 wide moment going to the final corner on what was it, lap 6, I think. That was not intended. I did not want to end up 3 wide there. It just kind of ended up that way with everybody sort of moving where they were going to be at in the brakes and whatnot. And yeah, that was it was a lot of fun, but didn't have the best of qualifying. So it kind of paid the price for it, getting mired in the mid pack. Couldn't really run down Lemke or Brock or Thomas or any of those guys. Not sure I would have been able to if I'd qualified better. Those guys were just gone once again. So as they do week in and week out. But yeah, it was good fun. Laguna is a tricky track. you have to fight the track as much as the car you're battling with. It's hard to pass. There's very few opportunities to really make a good pass. You kind of got to get the elbows out around here.
Well, we got 2 weeks left in the season. We come back next week to Bathurst, and we go to Road America to finish off the season. How you feeling about Bathurst next week?
I'm going to be Bathurst out by the time next week's done and this weekend. So, going to go from GT3s to GT4s. But yeah, kind of a similar strategy here. There's a couple of really solid passing opportunities, but everywhere else it's going to be a dogfight. So, expect a lot of trade and paint and. In honor of the late great Robert Duvall who passed away, who coined the phrase "Rubbins Racing." I think you're going to see a lot of that at Bathurst. So, and then Road America, man, just last of the late breakers there. It's going to be 2 wild weeks to finish this thing off.
Well, congrats on another podium finish. Great run tonight. You worked. You kind of mired. You're in the middle of the pack there, Flo. Worked your way up to the front. So great run. Good luck this coming up weekend in the 12 hours. But hey, man, before you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, once again, gotta wish you guys first and foremost. It's fun going back and watching the broadcasts. It seems to add a level of competition when everybody knows that our antics are getting broadcast out here. So I definitely appreciate you guys putting it on with GT4s and the MX5s on Sunday. But the whole Apex admin crew for keeping us all in check and keeping the ship pointing in the right direction. We're starting to have some discussions for next season, and they've got the right mentality on a lot of things. So hats off to those guys. And of course, my Maximum Effort Motorsports teammates. Don had bad luck tonight, unfortunately. Sounded like the Mustang did Mustang things around here, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, and then kudos to the wife for putting up with this fantastic hobby that I really love to do.
Well, thanks again, Brian. Congrats once again, and we will see you next Tuesday night.
Sounds good, gentlemen. See you.
You bet.
A big thank you there to Brian Zinn, third place again for the man in the number 82 Mercedes-Benz, but we have got a man who's now finally equaled Brian Lemke on race wins. He continues to lead the mid-pack Larrys, and it's the man from the Liquid Death Mustang, Kyle Mavis in the 64. Buddy, finally a win has come back your way despite all the dramas. I mean, Dan Carrito having that big spin earlier on, Porsche doing Porsche things here at Laguna Seca, but you end up with a W. How are you feeling after that one? Because that was mental. Kyle, can you hear us?
I know he's been on the Discord.
Yeah, hey,
there he is.
There? All right. Sorry
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear
Sorry,
you. I know you've been frantically typing to Michael in the disc. I can see the Discord is just lit up after tonight's madness here at Laguna. But you come away with the third win of the series with 2 rounds to go. Finally, luck has been on your side here in California, buddy.
Yeah, I think madness is probably the best way to summarize this thing. Felt like I was decently quick, qualified about where I was at with practice time there, which is, in the top 10 pretty soundly, and survived the first corner, which is always a big challenge here at Laguna Seca. And then it was just, battles and trying to stick with the pack as best we could. And got into some great battles there with Brian Zinn and Roman Bykov. Dan Carrito was there, Mike Bond. We had just a group of about 4 or 5 of us. And I know at one point we were talking here in the Discord after the race, we came to the little uphill kink. And it was just, everybody kind of got checked up, slowed up. And it was, 2 wide all the way through the corkscrew into a 3 wide into the last corner. So, we all survived, all made it through that little section. So it was super fun racing out there. And honestly, I don't know how I ended up in third. I can't wait to watch the broadcast back. I think in P5 and crossed the finish line. And next thing I know, my spotter's telling me I'm in P3. Really caught me off guard there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win nevertheless in the division anyway, and that helps to extend your lead over Dan. I mean, the thing is, Dan was saying in the Discord, I mean, like, Brian's in. That's very, very appropriate. We would have made Robert Duvall proud. I mean, obviously the late great actor, 95, just passed away. Of course, played Cole Trickle's crew chief. If you didn't recognise the I think I did make a reference about Dan when he had that unfortunate spin, that instead of hitting the, like saying Robert Duvall would have said, I want you to be perfect. I want you to go out there and hit the pace car. Hopefully no one does that in the next 2 rounds if you do have the pace car out front. But I think Mount Panorama is going to be a very, very strong track for the Mustang. I mean, obviously, you can really, really get the car going in terms of top speed. But I think what Brian said just a moment ago was the fact, like, you've got Mountain Straight going into turn 2, then you've got Conrod coming out of Forest Elbow down to the chase. That's
Yeah.
going to be the two big opportunities, but it is going to be the closeness and the proximity of the barriers going through Sulman, going into McPhillamy, and then into the iconic Brock Skyline, named after the late great Australian touring car racer Peter Brock.
Yeah.
We could see a very chaotic race like we've had here tonight at Laguna. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, 100%. Obviously, being a Mustang driver, I'm just praying that there aren't any kangaroos on Conrad Straight. But
Oh, don't no. Oh,
the-
yeah. Shout out Chris Mees, who's okay. I mean, obviously, for
Yeah.
those that didn't pick up the Liquid Molly Bathurst 12 hours this past weekend, there was the big incident involving race leader for Craft Bamboo, Ralph Aaron from Estonia, who I've known through the
Yes.
karting and single seaters, and then him having that crash with Jonathan Ziegler, who was that Porsche that was stuck towards the right hand side at the top of the S's. They're both okay, folks, so don't worry. But yeah, Chris Mees at 250 clicks going down Conrod Straight, and then Skippy throws himself into the line of fire, and then car and animal destroyed on the spot. It was absolutely horrifying. But yeah, like you say, we won't have any kangaroos, we won't have any echidnas, but it is going to be a good track. Obviously, you've extended
Oh,
that lead over Dan, but more to the point, we've got that and we've got Road America. Two great tracks to round out the series here, Kyle.
yeah. No, probably much more at home at Road America than I am at Bathurst. Bathurst, like you said, is, the straightaways are a real strong point for the Mustang. Keeping the rear of the car underneath you with all that horsepower is always a little tricky up on the mountain. And obviously, like we saw in the 12-hour, it doesn't take much for one person to get sideways up there, and next thing you're in a little miniature Australian Baku, and the whole thing's a gridlock. And if you're not checking up and other people aren't checking up behind you, it gets real nasty real fast. So you've got to pray for a little bit of good luck. I feel like I had that on my side tonight. Obviously, I think I basically promoted myself, I think, from 7th to 3rd just by survival. And ended up finishing 4th after getting a bit of a slowdown in the final laps. But who knows what we could see next week. It could be just super clean, great racing. There could be a disaster at one turn that takes out half the field. That's just Bathurst for you.
Indeed. Well, congratulations on the win in the 64 Liquid Death Mustang. Before we let you go, Kyle, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just big shout out to you guys again. Absolutely love the broadcast. Gonna hop off here, hit the treadmill, watch it back, and looking forward to it. So thanks again for all you guys do. It's one of the best broadcasts I watch, week in and out, week out. So thanks again.
Well done on the win in the mid-pack, Larrys. We'll see you for the penultimate round of Apex this GT4 Tuesdays at Mount Panorama. Well done tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Well, there has definitely been. I've just thrown into the Discord chat. You're what? Eating ice cream. There we go. We should be eating ice cream because it is the end of what has been a chaotic week 10 for Apex this GT4. I know our boss, Mr. Rob Marshall. Rob, you got to have a look at this one, buddy. It's been the craziest broadcast, I think, of 2026 for us here at Apex this so far. There's a lot coming up because there is actually Throttle Freak Season 4 GT3 going on right now after we finished here. They're at Week 8 VIR. For a few more upcoming broadcasts, the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Series Season 2 Week 6 heads to Bristol. Then we got the American Sim Racing League Sports Car Championship Week 5 at Sandown. Rookie Class Racing ARCA Series Season 3 Week 9 at Darlington. Rookie Class Racing Truck Series Week 3 at Indy. And then Apex this Season 26 Mazda Cup returns Week 10, and they will be heading here to Salinas, California. Chris, if Laguna Seca is the appetizer, Bathurst is going to be main course with Road America the dessert on this series. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, we've only done one Bathurst race together, and it was in the rain with an endurance with LMP2s and GTPs, and that was an absolute blast. I can only imagine what's going to happen with the GT4s, especially with the level of drivers we have here with Apex this. I just can't wait to get back here next Tuesday. But fantastic race here tonight. Exactly what we expected to see at Laguna Seca. Some fantastic racing. Unfortunate couple of drivers races ended a little bit early, but Lemke once again comes home with a win. And I know Michael Brock didn't jump into with the interview with us, but sick with pneumonia comes home in second. Had a chance to win the race if he hadn't lost the back of the car there after the pit stop. But fantastic run for everybody here tonight. It was a lot of fun, Alex.
And we're getting a lot of thank you to Thomas Fisher, who has been, he did drop the letter F after the moment when he had that incident with Grayson going into the corkscrew. He said, thanks for the broadcast. Cheers, fellas. Patarina Scold says, good race, great cast. Night, everyone. That's it from us. So that is the conclusion of the Apex Sim Racing post-race interview show on Racer Nexus for week 10 out of 12 for what has become a true run to the final checkered flag of the series. We've got 2 more weeks to go. Stick with us here on the Racer Nexus Broadcast Network because we have got Mount Panorama, Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia next week, which will be shortly after the iRacing 12 hours official running of the Bathurst circuit itself. After that, March 3rd, we go to America's home of speed. We go to Road America to close out this series. You can catch all the action live here, same place, same time over the next 2 weeks live on Racer Nexus. A big thank you to everyone that's been watching tonight and a big thank you to nearly 30 cars here at this 2.23 mile circuit, 11 turns. It's been a real pleasure because the thing is, GT4 racing, when you put everyone in the same boat, everyone's in their own respective choice of vehicles, chaos and carnage can happen, just like it has happened here tonight in California. But could it be Bedlam in Bathurst next week in Australia when we head to that land down under? Up here in the Racer Nexus broadcast booth, you've been in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Chris Murphy. Well, Lemke and Mavis rule the roost here in California. Who will be triumphant in Australia next week? Join us as we will find out in just 7 days' time. Until then, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, like here at Laguna Seca, you've got to go flat out. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Good night.